Welcome to episode 2 of SCUP.
Today, on This American Dice, we bring you games from CondoCon in Davenport, Florida. Our GM for this game of SCUP, The Sword, the Crown, and the Unspeakable Power, is Jared. Grim is played by Ryan. Slate is played by Bret. Fellow by David. And Rook by Austin.
So, do you believe it? We're actually done with the pre-game preparation. No, hold on. What is something else?
Yeah, kind of. I wanted. Hopefully, this will be quick.
Go ahead, Bret.
I just wanted. So with Rook, the way I understand, so you have a group of followers. That's part of your.
No, so I have a militia. So I have like a bandit gang.
Okay.
And then there's like a group of people that give us support.
Right.
Not your
faction, but your playbook. You have a group that right. Okay. So I want to make sure I'm not stepping on your toes because one of the options I could choose that I want to choose is basically I have a group as well. I just want to make sure.
Oh yeah.
I don't want to step on your toes if that's your thing, right? Okay. So as long as you're okay with that, we'll go ahead with it. And that also means that I need to make a roll.
Oh, to see how you please them or not?
Yes.
Oh, fuck, I gotta do the same thing. Shit. Yeah.
All right, sorry, we're not done with the pre-game preparation.
Well, it's at the beginning of each session. So we're done with the pre-game stuff.
We're at the threshold of the first session.
We made it to the starting line.
We're not the pre-game. We're at the pre-game.
We're at the post-pre-game.
Post-pre-game. Yes.
Yeah. So I have a similar thing.
Right.
So yeah, and I think like the whole shtick with mine is like where mine is a gang, yours is more of a cult.
Yeah. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. So I have to make basically the same roll that I just made, but like for how my gang's doing. Yeah, so at the beginning of each session, roll plus fierce. On a 10 plus, you gain all surplus bonuses. During the session on a 7 to 9, you have the surplus bonuses, but the MC will activate one want. I only have one want. On a miss, or if your leadership is contested, your militia is in want, you have no surplus bonuses, and the MC will active one or two wants. Uh-oh. Whoopsie. When you have this move, you may twice choose to spend an advancement to remove or add an option. Yeah. So I gotta just roll fierce again. Should I do that?
Yeah, go for it.
Alright. 6 plus 2 is 8, plus 2 is 10.
Alright, so what's the result for 10?
So for 10, it means... my guys are... loyal, they're well armed.
All right. So in light of what just happened, where you were captured and you got loose, maybe that resulted in something where, maybe you were able to sell a shipment of contraband and you did really, really well, and you're walking away with tons of money, and you're like, all right, guys, we're
next time this isn't going to happen again. We need to be better armed for this, and so so we parlayed some of that money into better arms for ourselves.
Okay, all right, sounds good. Yeah, because I can't see how loyalty will come out of that. But I think
they're just. I mean, theoretically, they're just not like disloyal. I think that's always the problem with the Spur, like the biker in the Apocalypse World set, where it's like when you have this gang, it is always the chopper. It is always perpetually on the verge of rebellion.
Yeah.
And so it's like when you win, they're just not in open rebellion.
Yeah.
All right.
How's your followers doing?
Let's see.
So you activate a benefit. Just to be clear on that. You activate the benefit, and it's. How does that work? I mean,
it says on a 10 plus you gain all surplus bonuses.
Oh, all surplus bonuses.
I think of the ones that I have selected.
Yes. Okay. The ones you select.
So I have +1 harm that I do. I'm well armed, and that they're loyal.
Oh, okay. And +1 harm.
Yeah.
Just making a note. All right, sounds good. Sorry, I just want to be clear. All right, go ahead, Bret.
All right, so.
Oh, sorry, Slate.
Ooh, 9 and a 3. That's a great roll.
All right, so that would be 11.
Okay.
So
it truly is a time of plenty.
A time of plenty indeed. You know what?
So it's the same
gang
thing.
disbands.
So I basically get all your followers are content and they gain whatever. Listen, and I've got my followers constitute a powerful arcane force. So my surplus with that is plus ritual, and then their followers are also educated in why. So I also get the surplus of insight. And in case it matters, I have the the wants, which you have to choose, which are always on. My followers are not really mine; I'm theirs.
Okay.
So the want is judgment, and then the followers are typically intoxicated. So the surplus is stupor. Again.
Oh my god.
Well, we're doing it for the right reasons, but we're socially stereotyping dwarves, so we drink a lot.
Okay.
You just have that, like, we work hard, so we play hard.
Yeah.
Like, we drink after work, and or we work at the steel mill, like the Simpsons.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start off the first scene. You, fellow, are in the Viceroy's audience chamber with Grimm, and you have just had a personal meeting with the Viceroy where he has expressed his displeasure with how things went down. How do you think that this used to be a human kind of like throne room in the palace? So if you could describe what it looked like prior, like how would human architecture look like, and then maybe you could talk about how the dwarves came in and refined it.
Okay. So I would think it would be kind of over the top with opulence, because we talked about it was all about, it was very artistic, comparatively. So I'm imagining, kind of a Roman combined with Rococo kind of, finish. So like a lot of gilded things in gold, a lot of, plated stuff, a lot of expensive marbling, and things of that. Wide halls, grand throne, high up, all the theatrics thrown in, a lot of purple, what is it, bunting or whatever,
I know you're talking
around,
Sure.
And the trimmed in gold tassel and stuff like that all around. That's kind of what it would have looked like. And also maybe the flags of any conquered countries, like just hanging all around as like proof of, our strength.
Yeah, because it was Imperia before, it was a human empire, All right, so since the Doros have moved in, how would they have changed things? Like, how would they have altered the veneer here?
So, how are we thinking the Doros are different than humans are?
Collectivist.
Or I mean, like physically, even.
Pragmatic.
I think he's being physically.
Physically? Oh, how are they looking physically?
Are we thinking they're like Gimli kind of dwarves?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're shorter, squatter, bulk, like huskier.
At least normal dwarves, not you.
Maybe all this like art and frescoes and things that were on the wall have just been like stripped because they're like, we don't need this anymore. We can use this.
It's a fire hazard.
Yeah, we can use these materials way better in other things. So maybe it's like we're real bare now. There's maybe like the hints of stuff that used to be there, like the foundations look nice or something. Like but we're gonna use this, like the golden stuff. We can use that for other things.
So there's even a practicality to the like stripping of the old stuff out. It's like if nobody's going, if people aren't going to rarely see it, you're not going to worry about taking it out.
And maybe they put in like literal like safety rails on the walk up the throne, like very pragmatic stuff, there should be a handhold here. You don't want people to trip.
Okay. All right, so everything's been stripped down. Even the throne has lost its flourishes. It's probably like a simple block. I'm thinking even just like a bench that he just sits on, instead of like having like a huge backing and stuff like that, or like arms. It's just a bench that the Viceroy sits on.
I'm thinking because the original throne would be like up the dais kind of thing.
Right.
I don't think that's probably roped off.
Okay.
Because he wouldn't be higher up than everybody else. Because that would
because that doesn't make sense. The lower the better people.
Yeah.
Or at least at the same
underground.
So he's probably sitting on one of the old benches where, like the place originally, where they would come in, like it was like out in the hallways, a waiting area kind of thing. Mm-hmm. He just brought in. That's where he sits when he's here. Well, like in front of the dais.
Okay, yeah, that sounds good. I like that. Okay, so the Viceroy is sitting on the bench, wearing like a very simple uniform with maybe like some simple insignia denoting his rank. and you basically he sits there. You walk up before him, and he does he have a name, or does he just call something the Viceroy?
I have an idea.
Yeah.
I think in the vein of taking like human language names, he goes by Viceroy Savior.
Viceroy Savior.
Ah, yes.
Okay.
Just among the common folk. My name's Viceroy Jesus.
Thank you for coming. This is a matter of some urgency. I have decided that we need a reorganization of the administration here in the last city. There are too many humans carrying weapons. When one carries a weapon but does not serve a lord, it causes disorder and disruption. So I have decided that I will be assigning you, Grim, to go forth into the city, instruct the others, members of your society, that if they wish to continue carrying arms within the city, they will need to work for the state. They will need to serve the state. They will at least provisionally be employees of myself, the Viceroy. We will not oblige them to do anything they are not uncomfortable doing, but we will give them a stipend for serving the state. More importantly, though, we want you to go forth into the outskirts, and for each human who bears weapons, they have the choice of either giving up their weapons or serving as levies in the Dwarves army. The capital always needs more recruits, and they have decided to extend to humans full citizenship in the Dwarves Empire if they will serve in the military, and at the end of their service they'll be given a plot of land and wives if they are available. You shall go with him and make sure that he understands the demands of the Doro state and our traditions and cultures, and I expect you to serve me better in this than you have recently. But he is in command of this. Do you understand?
Of course, I welcome every opportunity to prove how much I labor for you and the crown itself.
Not for me, for the Doro state itself.
Of course. An important distinction.
Do you understand this as well?
I understand that I don't think they're going to disarm me peacefully. I also don't think that it's right to ask a bunch of farmers and people who live on the land out there to go without any form of protection, unless you're willing to put your militias out there to guard them.
We will give them protection. We're the only protection they need. Who else is there that will threaten them? If there are those who threaten them, you will disarm them or you will destroy them. There will be peace outside the entrance of the last city, as well as within.
So I have your word that you're going to expand the patrols farther out into the
Have we
regions?
not brought peace and prosperity to the last city itself? Do you see crime in the streets? Do you see disruption? Only occasionally. And usually it is punished until recently. But we will make sure that it is punished in the future as well. We will govern strictly but fairly.
Also, I think if you take the veterans' weapons from the war and things like that, that won't go over well either. Maybe a grandfather.
We take nothing. We simply ask them that if they wish to retain their weapons, that they will acknowledge that they are beholden to the state to use those weapons.
Even if they're enfeebled?
As I said, we will not make them do anything that they are not able to do. They can serve in the capacity as advisors and will receive a stipend from the state.
I'll take it to my people.
Good. We have great faith in you.
To this shack here.
Are there any other questions?
We're taking that shack here.
And you are dismissed. And like someone like taps a staff on the ground. And you're expected to turn around and head back out. And the doors are closed behind you. So you're standing in the antechamber. If you want to speak to each other or talk a little bit.
You know this is going to be a real shit show, right?
Why? It would be a great opportunity. Don't you think?
Do you have any weapons?
Why would I need them?
You better bring them.
You've been summoned to the Council of the Dwarves Pantheon. Now, I have different ideas. Like I'm thinking that like my first vision might be that they're sort of austere, but you've also described them as being intoxicated. Now, is this a misinterpretation by your?
Well, my group, my direct followers are intoxicated.
Okay,
that would be like it's like a cult within my order. Like it's kind of like it's a sub faction within my faction that just is related to me. Well, actually, technically I follow them, but that sort of thing.
Okay. So, all right. So you're summoned to the council.
Right.
What would the Council of the Dwarves Pantheon look like? Like, what are their council chambers like?
It's very austere. It basically would be one representative at a time from each of the orders, at least the ones that are available. And not everyone's going to be there every time, right? So it's not an expectation that there's always going to be one, but there's as many as possible are there. And when they're there, it's kind of a with all these diffused and different energies or the deities, the powers that are there, it actually brings forth like almost like a group mind kind of thing. So it's not like a control or anything like that, but it's almost like they're reaching this consensus as a group, and it's only like the designated member that's there. So like if I go in there, unless I'm called for, which I probably wouldn't be, to be a member of this, then I'm not a part of it. It'll be whoever was there for my order if they're there, or that sort of thing. So you have to. It's like a training thing. You aspire to this at some point, or you could be called to do it.
Okay. All right. So you are called in the council, and I will imagine it's like a semicircle table where you can stand in the center.
Okay.
And there's seats for a couple dozen
At least,
representatives. But there's probably not a full complement here.
Right.
But there are at least say 6 or 7. And there's one gray-bearded elder in the middle, very frail and old. Like this is a guy that the dwarves are, I imagine, much more longer lived than humans. Okay. So he might easily be a couple centuries old. So he's like at the center of the semicircle, right? And you're opposite him, and he probably has an equal number on each side of like 3 dwarves on each side. And as you approach the center, there is I'm going to say that the air is thick with an incense that's burning, and the 3 dwarves on each side are like kind of low chanting, and like the gray dwarf in the middle, as you approach, like his eyes roll up in his head, and he tells you,
Who approaches the council?
Is Slate from the Order of Deepak.
The Order of Deepak. We speak for the Pantheon. I am its representative. We have had a message from the Pantheon that it is now time for the Order of Deepak to take its place among our council. But first, certain things must come to pass. The Pantheon does not still understand the essence of the human Imperium. We must
You must bring the essence forward, the consent, and you must speak with the human god's voice, not just repeat back and reflect what you have heard of the Pantheon. You must touch the beyond through the essence of your own kind, and not through the intermediacy of this council. To this end, we charge you with going forth into the hinterlands and bringing those who worship the old ways of your kind into our company of the Pantheon. They must join our collective. We must be as one. Does that make sense?
Yep, it does.
Okay, you got it. Okay, all right.
Start from the beginning.
And he's, I realize again, these things are speaking through him right now.
Yeah.
Like but you can always, you can either accept or you can refuse.
No, he's going to willingly accept. He's been waiting for something like this.
Okay.
So he'll reply to directed to him, but to all of them. The order of Deepak is ready and willing to finally bring the humans into the fold. The will of the Pantheon will be done.
We are pleased to hear this. We seek unity with your kind.
And soon our kind will seek unity with everything.
All right, he snaps out of it, and immediately all the other dwarves stop chanting, and they also turn their eyes on you. Oh, hello. So you went well, I think.
Quite well, thank you. There's always wisdom from our betters.
Go with the Pantheon with its love and its oversight, its patronage.
Yes.
All right. Anything you want to do?
No, he's very happy. So he'll head out using. I mean, I'm sure there's no like backing out kind of thing like you would have with royalty or anything like that. So he's just gonna. I mean, it's it's a very egalitarian thing. So but he just walk out. He's just starting to already think about how this was going to be accomplished. It's not easy, obviously.
I bet you are.
Yes. I mean, he's already thought about it. He's just planning how to, which of them actually has a possibility of working.
All right. So I'm gonna go over to you, and I'm not sure exactly how to set this up. I think
that would be Rook, right?
Yeah, Rook. Yeah, I'm sorry. Let's go to Rook. I imagine that there might have been fallout from what happened recently, that you were released, but you somehow managed to spin it. So I'm curious how this was accomplished.
Ooh. There's like a smash cut from the scene that we just had that's very peaceful with Slate to this scene where you just see like Rook pull his like face away from someone he just clearly headbutted.
Okay.
And he's like pushes them over, and like clearly there had been a fight between him and this other person, and Rook's like, and Rook says like, and that's what you get for calling me a fucking
beard lover.
A fucking beard lover. Yeah, and like someone had made the exact accusation that you had said. Like, wait a minute, how is it that you got out? So, and he just beat the hell out of him.
Okay.
Yeah, and so like that's how that went. Like we joined when like that fight has kind of like, and that was a person who was probably not a fighter, but like somebody who made the comment or raised the question, and Rook responded very violently to that person.
Okay, like this guy throws his arms up. He's like, "Look, I was just asking a question, okay? I mean, what are we gonna do now? Like, I mean, you went in and we know they took you captive, and we were trying to raise up the people in the city, but I mean, if we're not gonna work in the city anymore, like, what am I gonna do? I mean, the veterans aren't doing anything. The Legion's not gonna join us. Like, what do we do? What are we doing now? What do we do? I just don't know what we're doing."
And this person this person isn't part of my militia, or are they? I think they're not. I think this is a person who made this comment. Since my militia, like based on the role, they're like fairly.
Let's say he was. I mean, maybe he was a member of the pristine. Right?
So this is the person who's really into that stuff, like.
Yeah.
Like. Oh.
And he's like, I just want to go back and I want to stay with my family. They can't survive out here, but as long as I have these beliefs, I'm not going to hide what I am, and so I can't go back unless I hide what I am. But I can't stay here and be away from my family anymore. You know, we've been following you. We've been trying to help you out, and I'm just wondering, what does it end?
Ooh, and I think he slaps him in the face again, and he just says like, and he yells at him like. It's like, don't be ashamed. Go back to your family. Like, grow your crops, raise your crops, and when the Legion comes in here, we'll show them all. And he, like, I think, like the guy's down, and he like kind of does the thing where, like, if somebody tries to get up on their feet, he kicks him, and he's like, they've kicked us. Now get up and get up and get back to them. Don't you be ashamed.
All right. Okay. So he's kind of you know, and they're, I mean, it's God, this is stupid, but
it's very much a bully thing to do.
No, but they're totally into it, and it's almost like the thing that comes to mind, which is not really probably fake, but there's a scene in Jesus Christ Superstar where it was like, when do we ride into Jerusalem? And so they're like going around like, all right, so we're there, we got it, like like the peasants are on our side. You showed them who's boss. We can have as many of these.
I wish I didn't know all the words of Jesus Christ Superstar right now.
Yeah, no, I'm like, when do we ride into Jerusalem? When do we? Okay, all right. So like your like commanders and stuff are like running around, and they're all cheering. And then I'm gonna say your second in command like will come up. Do you want to name this person? Is it a he or she?
I'm just gonna grab the next name on the thing.
Sounds good.
Dirge.
Dirge. Okay, sounds like just like his name. This is a nickname. He's like a really sober guy. He comes up and he's been the veteran of like a lot of conflict. Like he's been an insurgent for a very long time. And he's like pretty speech, but what's our next move?
Rook says, you can let them. We know what we need to do. We need to find out when the next shipment of mithril is coming through. We need to find out when that shipment of mithril is going out. We need to get it. We arm ourselves better, line our pockets.
Well,
yeah, that's what it says. Sorry.
You would know who to talk to about that, about the next shipment. I mean, we've got people working as laborers out in the mines. We got laborers that are offloading at the docks. I assume there's a dock here. We have what is it called when they're teamsters, like the wagons and stuff. We got people in Teamsters. Like, I guess it'd just be a matter of you talking to somebody and finding out when the next shipment's coming in, eh?
Yeah, me talking to somebody, because I got to do everything around here. God damn it. God's damn.
Burden of leadership, my friend. I mean, I'm here, right behind you, every step of the way. All right, so I'm looking for the basic moves, actually. What do you want to do next? Because I'm going to let you run through this a little bit if you want.
Yeah,
he's basically trying to push you to do something, and
I'm down to do that, because I think Rook's thing with this is like, these people are asking us to raise up this rebellion, and from his perspective, like until until our numbers are way bigger or the legion's on board, like, it's going to be very, very difficult to do that. So we're just bandits at the moment.
Right.
So let's just be bandits.
All right, and really, like, Dirge is also practical too. Like, you know, like if we make more money, we have more influence.
Yeah.
And if we keep making the Doros look bad, then eventually people will swing over to our side because they'll realize the Doros have lost control. So how do you want to go about trying to find out when the next shipment of mithril is going to come in?
I guess I'll just have to kind of like talk to people in the area and kind of like keep my put my ear to the ground, I guess. I was going to say put my nose to the grindstone, but that's, I mean, just effort. But yeah, put my ear to the ground and try to figure out, wait a minute. Oh my God, cut my own nose off. Traitor it is. But yeah, so I think he's going to try to like put his ear to the ground and figure out when this next shipment of whatever valuable thing, and honestly, it doesn't even have to be mithril.
Mithril could just be your code word. You just call it anything.
Mithril's
like stuff, like valuables.
Ooh, actually, I like that. I like that a lot because, like, when when other people hear it, they think it's like, oh, it's important for them to fight against the Duros, but it's like it just means like, oh, there's a shipment of olives, there's a shipment of grain, there's a shipment of silk, like whatever it might be. It just means something valuable. I like that. They think it means war supplies, but war supplies could be whatever is expensive.
Okay.
Cocaine.
Yeah, can't have a war without cocaine.
So this is going to sound really weird, but I'm going to take this as a face duress move. So the sense is that you're trying to get this information and accomplish this, so you know where to strike the Duros next. But the duress is that your people aren't really like, not many of them are in the know. They're that's not one of your faction's talents. Like, it's not about knowledge or rumors. So it's mostly just kind of like, going from place to place and having the stamina and dealing with the impatience of your troops, of your militia, because they don't want to be patient. They're like, let's strike something like right now. We got to find the right place to strike.
Okay. So you don't think it's a study of situation? You think it's more of a duress thing because they're just getting too pissed off?
Yeah. What was it? What was the other one that you were
study a situation? Like find the information, or you think it's like?
I think it's more like you're trying to accomplish something.
Okay.
You're not trying to like study the situation and find like who's actually pulling the strings or who's my enemy. It's more like you want to achieve a goal.
Okay. So we're trying to endure this before somebody gets too pissed off.
Right.
Okay.
Or there's a conflict or something blows up.
All right. I got a 7.
All right. So on a 7 and 9, you have flinched, stalled, or hesitated. I get to pick one of the two of the following and tell you what it will look like if you take it. So let's see. You can achieve your goal, but it'll come at a price. You can achieve your goal, but only partially. You cannot achieve your goal, but you can do something similar instead. So what you really want to do is you want to steal something that's going to bring you money and hurt the Duros in a way. I guess we can go, you can achieve your goal, so you'll strike at the Duros, and you'll steal something, but there's a witness that survives and can identify you.
Okay.
All right, so they know that you are the one responsible for this, and this is going to get back to someone in the authorities.
Perfect.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. So done. You. So what is it? Is it a little shipment of mithril, or is it something else?
No, it's definitely not mithril, which I think again is just like a code word. But it's it's like it's provisions. It's like a bunch of wine. Okay. And it's wine. Fuck it, it's wine.
Okay.
We steal like the equivalent of like a gas tanker of wine, like barrels and barrels of wine.
Big wagon full of wine barrels.
And and like very fancy wine at that. Yeah.
What do you end up doing with it?
I think that for the most part, we probably take it and split it into 3 chunks. Half of it we sell. A quarter of it we give out to people and like to kind of ingratiate ourselves with folks. So like the nearby tavern, we're just like, this is for everybody. And then the other quarter we just get shithoused ourselves because we are bandits.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think we'll switch over to a scene with Grim now. You are at like what kind of place would you meet with like members of the veterans at a hall? Okay, so there's a veterans hall, right? And you're kind of just hanging out, and there's another guy that's a little bit older than you, and he was of lower rank in the military. Do you want to pick a name or should I?
Sure, I'll go with a name off the list.
Yeah,
we're saying. How about Crow's Eye?
Crow's Eye. That's perfect.
My name's Crow's Eye. Wait, nope. Everybody has his voice. Fuck it.
All right, so that's Grim's friend.
He was a lookout.
Yeah, perfect. All right, so you're like you come in and Crow's Eye is over there, and he's probably like missing an eye. And I'm
missing an eye. So.
There you go. Yeah. All right. Between you, same Crow out of both. Yeah. So he's hanging out with like a bunch of other veterans, and they're all like laughing their asses off, and he's telling them some sort of story. And he's like, and then he gets up. Oh no, that's too much for a And then he gets up. And he takes a cask and he breaks it open. He goes, "This one's on the shorties." And oh man, he just poured it out all over the place. And he's like going on, and they're all laughing and stuff. When you like start walking up, they suddenly like all turn around and you get quiet. And Crow's Eye's like, "What? Oh, hey, hello, Grim.
What's the good word, Crow's Eye?"
Nothing.
I'll slap him on the back. Like, you were telling a story about the shorties? I'd love to hear it.
It sounds like you're trying to persuade him because he doesn't want to share it with you. Let's you're not threatening him, but supposed to persuading with leverage because you do know that you have political influence, and so that could actually affect whether they get jobs or not. You know what I mean? Like they can be hired on, or you can put in a bad word with the Doros, and then they can't find any work. So go ahead and roll that. Roll plus Wiley.
Plus Wiley. That is
Roll plus That's a 5.
Wow. All right.
not Wiley.
Okay, no problem.
And another coyote.
All right. He shuts up, like he clams up, and he doesn't say anything. And as you keep like patting him, kind of like, and it's like a vaguely intimidating move where you're like patting him, like tell me what you were saying, and maybe there's an implicit threat and an implicit promise. Maybe you'll benefit from that. Like you kind of like wondering like, why isn't why don't you tell me what you know? And one of the other guys from goes like, it's because he doesn't fucking trust you anymore. And it's all out there, and everyone kind of turns around and like are like, oh shit. Like it's out in the open. Like they don't think you're on their side anymore. You're one of them.
So there's a momentary like flash of anger on him, and he like grabs the table in an almost move to flip it, and then like he'll stop himself,
right,
and kind of remember who he's talking to.
His name is Saba.
All right, Saba. I understand that you and maybe some particulars at this table have some issues. If you'd like to bring up those issues, I would be happy to hear them. I come with good news and jobs for everyone.
Jobs working for the shorties.
Jobs working to feed your families.
He turns around and looks at somebody next to me. He's like, his nephew has more balls than he does. At least he's doing something. So you take the table scraps from the shorties, from the beards. Men don't just it's not food alone. We need more than that. We need hope.
Hope for what? You're 70 years old.
Of something new, something to pass on to our children.
We are passing on something. It's called peace. You were on those lines just as much as I was. None of us want to see that for our children.
The shorties are weak now. They left a token guard behind and they're fighting wars on 3 fronts. If we rise up against them, they won't be able to do anything about it. I say we should all go and talk to his nephew. We should talk to Rook.
Leave Rook out of this.
Rook's part of this already. You haven't heard what he did. He took the shorty's own vintage, gave it to the people. No crumbs, no serving, stepping, and fetching for the shorties and the beards in exchange for their cast-offs. He took what he wanted because this is our land. It belongs to us. Those are our grapes growing in our soil, and we deserve the fruits of our labor. We work to grow those grapes. We ship them. We crush them. Why do these sell them back to us? Our own goods they sell to us. And then they tell us that they're doing us a mercy, a favor, by allowing us to buy our own goods.
Are you fucking done?
No, I know you are. I'm just beginning.
He's getting so mad. It's like every time you talk, like I just want to punch that character. I don't know if you remember what it was like before the war, but it wasn't fucking good around here. You're hoping for glory days that never existed. Right now is good. You know what we have right now? We have grapes. Mm-hmm. We have the ability to make vintage, which we didn't before.
You know one thing we don't have? We don't have freedom. That's the one thing we're missing. Things might not have been as good as they are now. Oh, so good working for the shorties and the beards. But at least we were free. If things were bad, we had earned those things instead of having this world imposed on us by these stunted little creatures. These freaks whose boots you lick.
All right, that they just keep pushing and pushing.
Of course.
Yeah.
That's kind of my job.
I will just reach across the table and then just grab him by the shirt and just pull his face into the table like as hard as I can.
Charlie Murphy him almost.
Yeah.
Charlie Murphy!
Jump down. Yeah.
So you're not like necessarily like engaging in combat. You're basically trying to just shut him down, I imagine. How you want to do that? Are you actually starting to fight with him?
Oh, yeah.
Or are you just like trying to stun him so that he stops? All right, so
I'm starting to fight with him. I want him to feel pain.
Okay.
I want him to hurt.
All right. So basically there's threat with force, and then there's engaging combat. So let's go with engaging. I guess you're engaging combat. You're opening up. You're ready to fight him.
Right. I'm hoping it's going to be short, but that's really what I'm
All right. Roll with fierce.
You just can threaten with force if you're trying to just like shut the fuck up.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to get.
All right, we'll do that. We'll go with that. We'll go with threaten with force. We'll go with that.
Is that with fierce?
Yep.
Yeah, that's got to be
9
for you.
All right, a 7 9. You were unconvincing, or they are not persuaded. Your target will choose one of these. They freeze in fear, surprise, or confusion. Try to strike a bargain with you, or talk their way out of it. Start looking for a way out and take it if they can. Put something or someone between themselves and you, or laugh at you, challenge you, or attack you right then and there. Huh? Okay. Damn. Well, that's what you get with a 7 9. Or I guess with a miss, it really blows up in your face. All right. So he's like I'm gonna say that he freezes in like fear and surprise. Like he really was not expecting you to do that. So he stumbles backwards and his nose is broken. and he's like looking at you stunned, but he's, I mean, definitely you didn't convince him to like back down that he was wrong or he was out of line. He thinks he was totally like, it was totally accurate and good for him to say these things to you, but you just lashed out, and so like it's almost a confirmation that you know you're in the wrong since you lashed out violently to shut him up. So he like there's a look of certainty on his face and shock, like I was calling you a traitor. I didn't really think you were a traitor, but you know what? You're a fucking traitor because you just turned on one of your own. That's the look on his face.
Okay, he can have that look all he wants.
Okay.
And I'll just look at him, and with like a real stern face, I'll just look down at my shoes, and I'll say, "Kiss them."
Oh shit! All right. And he's like, he looks at you. He says, "What are you gonna do if I don't? You gonna report me to the shorties?
I'm gonna fucking kill you."
All right. He looks around at everybody else, and the rest of the veterans are like, kind of like, this got way out of hand. But this guy is you're looking down at the ground, so you don't see his face. But he stops for a minute and he tells you, like, you go fuck off. Go back to your beards.
All right, I kill him.
There you go. Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Okay, so that sounds like it's engaging combat, so go ahead and roll. That's a step up.
Oh no!
Boom. Holy shit. All right. Choose one of the following. You attack with vigor, you parry their blows, you battle aggressively, inflicting +2 harm, but take an additional +1 harm to yourself, or you fight defensively. And so you inflict less harm, but you also don't take much harm. Additionally, on a 10+, pick one of the following. You stymie your opponent, you are impressive or dominant, or you achieve a goal. You can change the situation.
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to that last one. I'm going to change. What was it?
Achieve your goal and change the situation.
I'm going to change the situation. So basically, I'm going to go up to him, and I'm going to start just laying into him with mailed fist.
All right.
And just beating the tar out of him.
Okay.
And I'm going to be parrying blows because I don't want to take much damage, but I'm going to be hurting him pretty bad.
Right.
And I'm going to change the situation. He looks scared, frightened, and everything like that. And I'm changing the situation for the other people. Like, they're seeing him now as just like a blowhard.
Yeah.
And like he can't back up his words.
Yeah.
And I'm flipping the script where it's like, no, I'm the real fucking deal.
Okay. All right. So you go in, and he's like trying to put his arms up, but even with you fighting conservatively or defensively, because you don't take any damage. Like, he's not able to put up like much attack, and you do one less, but you still do like 2 probably or whatever. Yeah, 2 or 3. Whatever.
I count as a small militia myself.
Oh, jeez. All right. So you really beat him down. Like, you beat him in submission, and he is just. It's not just that he loses, but he's pathetic. And
I get him to kiss my boots.
All right, yeah, you like shove his face down, and finally he's missing teeth, and you're like, kiss him, and finally he just is like that, and then just lays and passes out. And like when you turn around, like everyone like puts their hands up like that, and Croy walks up to you and he goes, I'm sorry for what Saba said.
That goes for anyone who calls me a traitor.
You're not a traitor. I just, I don't know if you know about what your nephew's been up to, but apparently he raided a shipment of wine, and I'm just letting you know before it gets back to the viceroy. Maybe you could do something about it before it causes any more trouble for him.
I appreciate that. I do. I will flip a coin, whatever the coin of the realm is.
Okay.
And I'm like, what are those things called? They're not doctors. Bloodletters. I'm like, take them to him.
All right, he looks at the coin for a second and grabs it, and he nods. Like 2 guys come up and they pick up Saba, and they leave, take him off to the bloodletter. So, fellow, where do you work normally? Like, do you have like an office or?
Yeah. Sure. Maybe like in the whatever the palace kind of thing is.
Okay. What does your office look like?
feel it's maybe it was like a really spacious, like because it was constructed for these the tall folk.
Yeah.
But then he has like a tiny desk, and he's using like an eighth of this like space. It's all like empty space at this point.
Okay. And what kind
really
of
sparse, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, it's very Spartan. What kind of activities do you handle? Like, what kind of administrative duties do you have?
Maybe he's if not officially, his unofficial kind of duty is to kind of like outreach sort of thing. Like people that have questions for the Viceroy, he's the one who fields that. It's like, well, I'll make sure that gets right to him.
Okay.
Just going right into the social worker thing.
Sure. Okay. So you there's a double meaning there. Okay. So you end up getting like a knock on the door, and you probably have like Doro's militia within the palace itself. They don't reach beyond in the city. You have like human militia that patrol the city. The palace itself has Doros. So a Doros guard pokes his head in and says, "There's a human to see you."
Oh, send them right in.
All right, so farmer comes in, holding his hat, and he looks over like that at the guard. The guard closes the door, and he kind of walks up to your desk and stands in front of it, kind of looking abashed, like he doesn't know. He had something he wanted to say, but he's not sure how to say it now, and he's a little bit shy. He didn't realize he was actually going to be able to talk to somebody. He thought that he would just like pass a message to somebody. He didn't realize he was going to be ushered into the assistant to the viceroy. Your lordship, begging your pardon. I don't wish to take up any of your time. I'm sure you're a very valuable time you're spending doing your papers, writing the things with the quill. I'm just thinking that you ought to know that I witnessed an attack on one of the shipments from the local vineyard out in the country. It was heading into the palace, and I saw this group of people, these humans, whooping and hollering and carrying on. And there was this one fella. And he describes, I didn't get a description of Rook, but he describes Rook in great detail. He was leading them, and he made this big old speech, something about the old ways returning and humans having their own thing. And then he broke open a case and he shared it with his men. And I was hiding under one of the wagons when he left. But I thought this information and where he is, because I kind of know what village he's hanging out in, I thought maybe that information might be worth something to you. By the way, Rook, what do you look like?
Ooh,
well, first we gotta make sure they look
Ball of energy.
yeah, I'm a ball of energy. I'm a floating sphere. No, you know what? I think that Rook looks, Rook is played by the same actor who plays Theon Greyjoy.
Okay, yeah.
Thinking that exact same thing right before you said
So
it.
whoever that dude is.
Allen, Lily Allen's brother, Alfie Allen. Yeah.
Yeah, so Alfie Allen, yeah. So yeah, the actor who plays Theon Greyjoy is the dude who plays him, where he's like, yeah.
He has kind of like a little bit of a beard, kind of peach fuzz, and then stringy, like kind of hair, sort of reddish.
Yeah.
And just thinks he's quite a thing with the ladies.
Yes. I think that since they bring up like we call them like the beards a bunch, like there is an effort among his guys to like shave, but they are also bandits, so that's not done very well. But it's like they make sure that they don't have a beard, though it might be like a 5 o'clock the next day shadow, like pretty regularly. So he looks like that. That's the actor. I wrote down that he has like mismatched armor. So like a lot of like the armor and weapons that he and the rest of the group have are hodgepodge together stuff of like stuff from the war, stuff that they've stolen, stuff that's homemade. And he rides a horse that is like as if all horses aren't this very muscular.
Okay.
Yeah, this horse lifts. Like literally, while you're looking at this horse, it is also doing curls. You're like, it's not even how your arms are supposed to work. And it's like,
he had a really big horse.
very muscular.
It looked like it lifted. I don't know. It was very muscular, very nice forelegs.
It was drinking whey protein.
Yeah.
I see him lifting with both front legs, and he's like just adding.
Yeah, this horse. I've never seen a horse with a six-pack.
He was cut. The horse was cut.
And maybe fellow stands up and kind of walks around the desk. No, thank you so much for telling us this. I think I know who you're talking about, and I'm glad you brought it to me directly.
Right, so I was thinking maybe it would be worthwhile if the Viceroy knew where he was, like right now.
Yes, I think you might be right. I'll have to make sure that he gets this message as soon as possible. And I'm so glad that you brought
Should I wait then for a bit?
Oh no, sir. It's totally fine. I don't want to interrupt.
He looks honestly confused. Like he's looking around like, wait. All right, my lord. All right then. I'll be on my way.
Perfect. And I think that you should probably not tell anyone else. I'll make sure that this goes. I don't want anyone to panic unnecessarily.
At this point, I think you want to persuade with leverage because you know this guy is going to start shopping this around. This is worth a lot of money for him.
Do I want to do that, or am I whispering counsel into someone's ear?
You can totally do that. That's even better.
Cool. In that case, it's still a while. 10. So in this case, I have a list of, and I choose 2 of them. So just say it out loud. I can convince them someone is for or against them, help them see a solution to a problem, shift their attention to something else you present to them, make them forget something important, or convince them to give up on their current goal.
Oh, shit.
So I think I'm going to convince him that I'm for him, of course, and I think he's got to give up on this current goal to, I guess, get some kind of reward for this information.
Okay. All right. He's listening to you, and then a moment later he goes like, oh, "You already knew, didn't you?"
It's like, and he just makes a face like not saying yes or no. Well,
you little short. I'm sorry, you Dwarves. Yeah, I mean you Dwarves. You're just so amazing. You little folks. You're smart. You already know all this. You got handled. You're taking care of things. I'm gonna go back to my farm, and don't you worry. I'll have the most wonderful bean sprouts for all of you in the palace. I'll send a bushel free of charge for your magnificent work here in the palace and how well you're running things.
well, that's so generous of you. I really appreciate it. Not only are you so tall and so observant, but generous as well. Thank you so much. If there's anything else that you would need from me, let me know.
He called me tall. All right, he heads back out, and the guard opens up, and he's like, "Hello." He's like,
This character is played by Ricky Gervais.
all right, hello, and the guard's like, "Oh my god!" Like everyone leaving this guy's place is happy. Like I don't know how this works, but they all seem to be leaving happier than he went in. And they're empty-handed. So he leaves, and what do you want to do? You want to follow up for that?
Oh yeah, no. Now I got to talk. I got to find Grim. Talk to him.
Okay. So how do you want to get in touch with Grim? Grim is off on Grim business.
Yeah.
And also we know from the fact that what the guard just said, Grim never comes to you. Because everybody leaves your office.
Good. Yeah. Good point. I'm like, what?
Except Grim for some reason. He's never smiling.
His name's Grim.
Yeah.
It's in the name.
Oh man, I want to be like more maybe Maybe I'll just show up at your house. I'll be waiting for you in your house or something.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, you want to go? You want to go straight to that scene?
He can see me coming to the house. We can cut to a different scene, but I'm walking up and my fists are covered in blood. Yeah. It's I've got splatters, and I'm walking into the house. That's awesome.
Did you want to? So we can jump over to you, and then we'll come back. So what you up to?
I think so. After the meeting with the council, Slate is going to convene his little clique to assist with a little ritual to whisper into the unspeakable power.
So sorry. I'm sorry. Okay.
So he's going to convene his clique to get a ritual going to whisper into the unspeakable power.
Okay.
To get an idea of he knows what they want him to do.
Right.
He needs to figure out the best way to accomplish it.
This is great.
So he is going to try to do that. Now I have a question. So with his clique, he gets +1 ritual. What does that do?
+1 ritual.
Just as plus ritual.
Plus ritual.
It's one of the benefits of it.
I'm gonna.
I think I remember having played this character the other time that we played it, and it's you can do a thing that is a ritual.
Okay.
Or and I think that's one of the things with that. If you could I see real quick? Yeah, I remember there are certain moves that you have that are rituals, and so once you've done that,
I don't remember seeing that anyway.
Yeah, there's something about it where it's you can do this as some kind of ritual. I remember it being a useful. It's a thing. It's an extra thing that you get.
Is it just a tag?
It is a tag that you get. Yeah.
Really?
So when you get +1 ritual.
What ritual does? Tags.
I forget. I don't know. I remember it being a thing that we figured out, and it took us a long time because it is not easily available. Where you're oh, aha! It's one of those where you're oh, got it. It's this.
So we might as well talk about tags, I guess. I'm just going to read you the tags here because the word, kind of different. So tags words describe the qualities of things. They give you permission to add things into the fiction. You don't always have to use tags, but you can use tags when appropriate. All right, so for example, the example they give here is they have a tag close, so it has to be something close. And then I imagine if it's something messy, you could do something messy, right? But it changes. It gives you permission to hit someone who's a bit of a distance if it's a weapon that is not immediate but close, right? So if you're doing some sort of ritual thing. Well, they have a list of things here. Maybe I can find something that has specifically ritual. Ritual. The group conducts powerful and inspirational rituals of some kind. Okay. So it's inspirational and it's powerful. And we will just work accordingly.
Okay.
Whatever you're doing, it has a lot more mojo behind it.
Okay.
Because you're doing it as a ritual.
Okay. And the other thing is my group gets is they're also insightful.
Okay, so if you're asking for insight, it's going to be that's going to be the part of the fiction.
Okay,
that makes sense. Yeah, it just flavors. Okay, result.
Gotcha. All right, so we'll do the whisper into unspeakable power, which is an arcane roll.
By the way, what does this ritual look like?
Oh, okay. So it is. So it's.
What does a human ritual who worships dwarves trying to be human look like?
So what it is. So the key of the ritual is an object or that is crafted. That is. I keep using the word sacrifice. I don't think that's the right word, but it's given or sacrificed to perform whatever you're doing. So in this case, in this particular instance, this is something that they've been working on. Then that's the whole ritual thing. Is the way I'm seeing it. The ritual thing is crafting this item ahead of time. So you have something that is powered, because normally you can just, if you remember the whole transactional thing, you can just have an item here and you get your thing, right? In this case, you're crafting something ahead of time that is ideally more powerful and therefore gives you what you want, a better version of whatever it is you're trying to get. So in this case, they've crafted, the group has been crafting this ornate ornate weapon, or I don't know. I'm trying to think. It would be something functional. I don't think a weapon would be the best choice. But I'm sorry, a tool. There we go. Yeah. Okay. So an ornate tool, probably something like a pickaxe, shovel, something iconic to dwarves.
Yeah.
That is very stylized, not functional, but very intricately carved out of fine, at least relatively fine.
It could be a hammer or a pick or a shovel.
Yeah.
Whichever you prefer.
Probably a pick. So it's just a very, but it's very stylized and very. It's got runes, probably. Dwarven runes. It doesn't mean anything because this is like, because we don't understand that part of it, but it just, we're copying letter for letter, but not the words because we don't understand how that flows together. So that's something like that.
Just to make it a more difficult and thus more holy task.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's just the effort that goes into it. You don't have to know it, what it is. It's not a functional tool either, but we spent time, we probably had people that actually mined this, or, ideally you would go from start to finish as much, us doing the work ourselves, from getting it out of the ground, purifying it, crafting it, etching it, polishing it, the whole 9 yards from start to finish.
Okay.
So. And with that said, I'm going to roll a 2.
All right.
A 9 and a 3.
Yeah, plus 2, so that's 11.
Wow. Well, okay. So on a hit, the MC will pick one of the following. You have a brief vision, you hear a faint voice, you have a curious sensation. On a 10 plus, you'll provide a clear insight to you on the guidance you seek. So what guidance are you seeking?
The guidance I'm seeking is trying to figure out the best course of action to get our wayward humans into the fold.
Okay.
And I understand it's a broad thing. It's not an easy answer. It's just a direction more than a do this.
Okay. So you're holding up the pickaxe and you're praying. And everyone's praying around you, and what you feel is this great crushing weight just come from the sky and slam you to the ground. And you are beneath it, and it's pressing and pressing on you, increasing weight. And you feel your chest caving in and your breath going out. And something leans in, and it is deep voice tells you,
of the council, there is an implement for each clan, something sacred to the god. This craft, where you imitate your betters, will not do. It must be something crafted by the old nation of men, but rededicated to the Pantheon. Go forth and find this thing. Go forth and find the banner of the last legion.
And then as part of it, the axe or the pickaxe is like subsumed or something like that. So
and then like slowly like the weight comes off you and it's like you can breathe again. Like it was completely crushed your lungs.
What if so what they were part of that message was like that this thing isn't enough of an offering?
No, the pickaxe is.
So what if rather than subsumed, it just rusted away or rotted away?
Sure.
So like almost like rather than like it ascended to heaven, instead it's like it turned to nothing.
There's
actually no. I like that. I mean, are you saying for this specific instance or like every time?
For this particular instance of disfavor, it just rusted away to nothing.
Yeah. I mean, I think it works either way. That's the thing. It's like because they're the way I see it, they're kind of absorbing the work, the effort.
Yeah.
So this might actually turn it back to this, whatever. But anyway, that's
okay. Well, I can almost imagine like a wind first before that thing drops on you. It sweeps it out of your hand, like it knocks it to the ground, and as soon as it hits the ground, it goes and just turns into rust.
Right.
Like right there, and then you're like, oh, you're displeased, and then you're smacked down to the ground.
Thanks for listening to this episode of This American Dice, presenting SCUP, The Sword, the Crown, the Unspeakable Power, live at CondoCon. The Sword, the Crown, the Unspeakable Power is a game by Wheel Tree Press. Please join us again for another exciting episode of This American Dice.
Hey everybody,
If you could please rate, review, and subscribe to our show on your favorite podcatcher, it would really help This American Dice. And for every 5-star review we receive, we'll read it on air. Join us next week for another episode of This American Dice.